Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio.
where we continue our exploration of our favorite magical extras hidden throughout the Walt Disney World theme parks. And the first half of this conversation was so enjoyable because we've been able to talk about some of our personal favorite things. But I also think that in this next part, we're going to talk about some stuff that maybe the people out there haven't noticed yet.
Right.
As well. So maybe it's something you can keep your eyes peeled first.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love all of this stuff because it culminates to make your experience. You know what I mean? To make this a Disney trip, which is unlike any other kind of trip, you know?
That's the magic of the Disney trip.
I mean, even the road signs when you're coming to Disney are a magical extra that, we haven't mentioned yet. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. So what's next?
All right, I'm going to name pumpkin smells.
Pumpkin smells.
Do you have a smell related?
I don't, but I can talk about pumpkin smells.
Yeah.
I love pumpkin smells. They're all around you at Disney.
Yes. Most notably, I think, or people most associate this with the ones that are on the rides, like Soarin', PhilharMagic, Pirates. But they're also just out and about.
Yeah.
I'm told.
Yes. The Main Street windows are a good example. When you're walking through Main Street, they pump out the smell of I think it's fresh bread or cupcakes or something from the
for the Main Street bakery kind of area. That makes sense.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. And then I'm
gonna have to smell for that next time.
Right. They do pump out scents in other places that are not in rides.
I have heard that they pump out the smell of popcorn, and what you're smelling is not actually popcorn, but that's probably not true, right?
I don't know if that was true.
I don't know about that. I don't. Why? I mean,
comment if you know.
Yeah, I feel like you would. They're constantly popping popcorn because they're constantly selling popcorn.
It gets me every time too. It always makes me hungry for popcorn.
I know.
They do a really good job.
Yeah, but don't get popcorn with no drink. We've made that mistake before.
Popcorn, a lot of salt.
And a kernel can get. That's what happened to me, and then I'm coughing, and then I'm worried people think I'm sick, and I'm not.
And then we had to buy an aqua lemonade.
Yeah.
No popcorn without drink. But yeah, the smells on the rides are definitely signature, and there's a bunch of examples. Oh, what's a good ambient smell that's not on the ride? The lobbies have signature scents in the resorts as well.
And people try to replicate them in candle form on Etsy.
And then there's accidentally signature smell to some stuff, like the bromine.
Like the gasoline.
Oh my god, like the Speedway gasoline.
Yeah.
That's for ambiance. Mm-hmm. They're where the bromine in the water in Pirates of the Caribbean or any of the water rides that has a specific smell that people like.
Yes, I know. But the smell of bromine brings me back to Pirates, right? But in other sections of Pirates, there are other smells that they're pumping in, which is nice.
Yeah.
They now have scents going on in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is lovely. I like it. I like the incorporation of the smells. I think that the first one that I remember being everybody was talking about it was when they did it on Soarin' and they had that orange smell.
Yeah.
People still talk about that.
Yes. Horizons also famously featured orange smell.
Yes. And so I'm happy to see that they're kind of continuing with this because I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's part of the Disney deal now.
Very nice too, because otherwise everything's gonna smell like sweaty humans.
Oh yeah, the more pumped in smell we can get, the better. Truly, I 100% agree. I love that.
Are there any you don't like?
Any smells I don't like? Who likes when Figment is pulling the lever and it's the skunk scent? Who likes that?
Why do they do that?
I don't know. But somebody did tell me that if you smell for it and you keep in mind that it's actually the smell of coffee beans, that it trips.
But coffee beans smell nice.
It trips something in your brain if you know that it's coffee beans that helps you smell the coffee.
But wait, is it actually coffee beans?
I think so. But
I don't understand that because everybody knows what coffee smells like.
I'm not a scientist, so like I can't tell you why. But that's what
I
I
always
heard.
hold my nose at that part because I assume it's going to be terrible.
Me too. Should we make a TikTok of actually smelling the Figment ride?
Yeah.
And remembering that it's coffee and seeing if it makes a difference. I don't know.
It better be coffee, whoever told Jake that.
I think so. I think it is. I think so. I wouldn't like have digested it as information like that if I didn't at least think it was somewhat credible.
Okay.
But we'll have to try it and see.
Yeah. There was also, I mean, I say was, it's still going. I don't know why, but in the Bug's Life, there's a negative smell too. I forgot about these negative smells. Why?
The stink bugs, right?
Yeah. That one also coffee? Coffee smells good. What's up?
I don't know. I don't know the science behind that. You're going to have to get a scientist on the line. Phone a friend who wants to be a millionaire. Play it live in MGM
If somebody can hook me up with somebody that knows this information, I'd love to discuss.
Yes. Come on the show if you know why coffee smells like farts in Disney language.
Isn't it skunk? Isn't it supposed to be skunk?
Oh, right. Skunk.
Yeah.
Or stink bug, I guess.
Yeah. So for the good ones, though, for the ones that are supposed to be good, are there any you don't like? Some people don't like the grass, the savanna.
The savanna one. I don't mind that. You mean in Soarin'?
I do mean in Soarin'.
That's nice.
I think my least favorite of the good ones is the champagne smell in PhilharMagic, but it might be one of those like Pavlov's dog situation because they're also spraying me with water at the same time.
Right, so it makes you afraid. Now whenever you toast champagne, you duck. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I get that. I don't mind that one so much. I actually really like a controversial one, which is the Rome is burning.
Oh,
smell in Spaceship Earth.
Okay, Epcot. Yeah.
I really like that smell and look forward to it. A lot of people hate it. So,
yeah. You know, yeah, it makes my mom nauseous. Like physically nauseous, that smell.
I'm sorry, Morgan Spalding.
Yeah, but they do sell it in candles, so
right. So there are freaks out there like me who like the burning
all of the Universe of Energy ride that is no longer with us used to smell like that.
It's true. It did.
I know
brimstone smell.
I can handle it, although it's a strong smell.
It is a strong smell.
I can handle it for Rome because it's like 10 seconds, unless you get stuck there. But for Universe of Energy, it was like 20 minutes of that smell.
Yeah, it was the whole prehistoric diorama situation.
That's what Earth smelled like back then.
Smelled like fire.
They know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't have any other smells on here.
Okay. Do you have any architectural design?
Ooh, yes, I do. I have on here I mean, I don't know if you would consider this, it kind of is. Behind Cinderella Castle, there's the hall where Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and all of that is.
Okay.
And there is a statue in front of that of Cinderella. And I love this statue because it's got a very cool, you know what we should have talked about this, Ed? Forced perspective, because that's really what this is. But if you look at it from the perspective of an adult, it just looks like Cinderella, and there's like a crown detail in the painting above the statue.
Right.
But if you look at it from lower down, from the perspective of a child, then the crown is like right on Cinderella's head, and it's like a cool, like forced perspective kind of thing. That's one of my favorite details. I don't think that's architecture, so no. I guess I don't have an architecture one. But yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite, like, built-in kind of perspective things.
Yeah. That's cool. It's very thoughtful.
The only architectural thing that stands out to me immediately is every time I'm in the Germany pavilion, I'm struck by the architectural integrity going on in there from the like wood panel kind of look to it. And when you go into the gift shop and all of the interior spaces in there, like Beer Garden or where the Rhine River Cruise was supposed to be, everywhere you go in there, it feels so right. I mean, obviously the Japan and China pavilions, like the World Showcase. Could I say the World Showcase?
Oh, absolutely. I think the World Showcase in general is one of the best, like, examples of different kinds of architecture really standing out.
And like the fact that they were able to achieve those aesthetics at such a correct level, each and every one,
right?
is really super impressive. Even America, that one is so like patriotic and grand and colonial and awesome.
Yes.
Really, every detail is beautiful. Here's a great architectural feature. In Hollywood studios, if you're going up to the Hollywood Tower Hotel, you pass by a spire on one side and an arched gate on the other side, and they're made of stone. And there are bathrooms on the right, and on the left, there's a covered area where the Fast Pass kiosks used to be. And those two architectural features are actually replica features of something called the Hollywoodland Gate Tower. And that was something when you enter the community of Hollywoodland, which was supposed to be the residential area for old Hollywood, that was like guarded off with police and like a hyper exclusive place to live or whatever.
Okay.
That detail, that architectural detail, was imported to MGM Studios for the Sunset Boulevard expansion, and it's like an exact replica of those buildings, because a lot of the facades of the buildings in Hollywood Studios, both on Hollywood Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard, are recreations of things like Carthay Circle and actual
oh my gosh,
famous buildings in Los Angeles. So really, the architecture in those areas alone, there's plenty to talk about. They're awesome.
Yeah, Grauman's Chinese Theater is, oh my gosh, a great example.
Amazing. A perfect remake, so much so that when they were refurbishing the actual Chinese theater in California, they used the MGM Studios blueprints because they were like exact.
I love that tidbit of information. That is fantastic. Yeah,
amazing.
It makes me so happy.
That's like probably my favorite Disney architecture story because it's so like scientifically impressive.
Yeah.
Physics and all of that.
Right.
Like it's awesome.
Right.
They sometimes colossally fail at that stuff as well. Like famously, Meet the World is a building that they constructed in the Japan Pavilion of Tokyo, and the Japan Pavilion of Tokyo, the Japan Pavilion of Epcot, and it's inside this beautiful castle building, but they built the second floor dimensions completely wrong. So the building couldn't actually be finished and they couldn't install the show. So the upper floor, it was supposed to be a rotating show. It doesn't rotate, and they use it for training and storage and stuff like that. And the bottom floor became the Mitsukoshi gift shop there in Japan. But that was an example of them getting all of that very impressive physics and architecture and all of those disciplines that have to come together to make these things right. Sometimes if they don't go wrong, if they go wrong, the result is like catastrophic. And now that building is still there and there's no ride in it.
Yeah.
But it makes you more appreciate when they can do the amazing things like fitting the great movie rides, pre-show, queue, and loading platform into a replica of the Chinese Grauman Theater.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yes. I had forgotten. You've mentioned that about the Japan one before, but I had forgotten about that. That's crazy.
Check out our Neverland Navco TikTok if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the forgotten Meet the World attraction that was supposed to be in Japan. Very interesting.
Do you have anything on lighting?
Oh, I've got some things on lighting. I know you've got some things on lighting.
Yeah, you go ahead. I mean, I just wrote down broad, but I love Disney lighting.
I know this is going to trigger you into a different foray of conversation, but in Frozen Ever After, there is a piece of fiber optic lighting that happens above you, and it's when Elsa's singing Let It Go, and your boat starts to go backwards, and it's this curly, spirally magic in the sky, and that is a leftover bit of magic from Maelstrom, where the trolls would send you back over the falls and magic would swirl above you. So that has been there since Maelstrom opened, and now it's part of Frozen Ever After, and it's one of my favorite lighting effects because the fiber optics illuminate little by little throughout the magical swirl, so it really feels real and in sync with, the effect of your boat going backwards and the magic going on around you. So, I love that one particularly, but I know you've got some favorite fiber optics as well.
Oh, you mean like the floor?
R.I.P.
R.I.P. the floor of Epcot. So when I was a kid, and most of you probably remember this to some effect because it wasn't that long ago. When you were leaving Epcot at night, and going towards like Spaceship Earth, there were fiber optic lights in the concrete that would light up as you were walking out, and it was so magical.
Yeah.
I will say, although this isn't the same, that they did put a lot of lighting into the new area of Epcot where that was.
Yeah.
There's lighting in the ground. There is lighting that changes from different colors above you and beside you. So I do like that. My absolute 100% favorite thing that Disney has done with lighting is put lights on Spaceship Earth.
Oh.
And yeah, they change colors and they sometimes dance. And
let me ask you, have you watched the latest Disney feature that's come out on Disney Plus called Becoming Epcot?
I watched like 20 minutes of it.
Well, then you know that the first couple minutes of it are about how they accomplished that effect. And I watched it the other day. My husband put it on.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I can't wait to talk to Morgan about this because I know it's your favorite.
Yes.
And they said something that we say over and over again, which was they were trying to make it feel like it had always been there. And when we saw it for the first time, you said to me, it's like, how have they not put lights in those gaps before? And I was like, okay.
And he says on that show, he's like, oh, we have these perfect spaces for lights. And I'm like, what? Well, this took a long time. But yes.
Kind of amazing.
It's so amazing. It's my favorite thing. I could sit there and watch those lights do their different stuff for hours. And you know what I mean?
I love that it's like just short little like musical numbers on the ball.
Yes.
On Spaceship Earth.
Yes, and then sometimes it's just the like sunset lighting, which is homage to the lighting that they've always had on Spaceship Earth. Sunset is what they have always were going for.
Right.
It's so beautiful to me.
It is.
I think when they first put it on there, Michael, my husband, said like, you just know that it's somebody like us that's been seeing this their whole life and going, you know what this needs?
Yeah, and compared to previous alterations to Spaceship Earth, this one like blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
Because the only thing they've ever done is during the Millennium Celebration, they put a giant Sorcerer Mickey arm and wand on the side of Spaceship Earth with letters that said 2000 above it. And then when the Millennium Celebration was over, they changed it to say Epcot. And people hated it. Hated it.
Mixed reviews for sure. I feel like it's controversial in the same way that the Birthday Cake Castle is controversial.
Or the Sorcerer's Hat at MGM Studios.
And I personally am kind of fine with all three of those things because they happened all when I was a child.
Yeah.
And as a child, I feel like you're more okay with these fanciful, over-the-top craziness things.
Because you're kind of just like, how cool that huge hat is.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, you're not like, oh man, now I can't see the Chinese theater.
No, this is blocked.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't
think like that.
No.
Or, I mean, I was pretty young when the castle was birthday cake. And to me, I was young enough that I wasn't like, oh, but the history or oh, the integrity of the castle. I was like, oh, pink cake.
Yeah. Meanwhile, your parents were like, our photos, I'm sure. Because that's what all of the parents were saying was, oh no, our vacation photos. But for the kids.
Yeah. We've got photos with that.
Y'all were fine.
I know. And now, how cool is it to have a photo with the year that it was a cake?
It's almost like bragging rights to have like seen the castle cake in person.
I made myself a shirt with the castle cake on it because I think it's kind of a funny and whimsical piece of Disney history.
We were at the Lakeland Antique Shop one day looking, and we like to go there to see all of the crazy Disney and Universal stuff they have.
They get all of their old stuff and sell it. You know what I mean? Like Disney's trash.
Basically. Like their leftovers.
They also have a lot of newer stuff, but go on.
Right. But we were floored to see inflatable pieces from the castle cake.
Yes.
They had inflatable like fixtures that were on the castle cake that they were selling for crazy, crazy amounts of money. But just to be like up close to them, we were like, this is so cool.
It was so cool. One time I wore my shirt that I made that had a picture of the castle cake, and I went to check into, I think it was the Swan or Dolphin Hotel at the time, and we were going for my birthday, I think. So I was like, oh, birthday cake castle. Ooh, I'm going to wear this shirt. It's my birthday. And we got up to the check-in, the girl that was working the check-in counter, and she goes, oh, not that castle.
Oh my God.
And I was like, yeah.
Come on. It is like so funny how things like that are so polarizing to Disney people. Some people they just hate that. You know?
Yeah.
I definitely agree, though, that like the sense of whimsy of doing something so wacky, I feel like is kind of out at Disney right now. It's not really a thing. They seem to take themselves very seriously right now, which is fine. I can appreciate the fact that they have, you know, a legacy of family entertainment for sure. But also like covering the castle and birthday cake, that's fun.
It was fun. It was fun. The way that they changed it for the 50th was more of a classy look, and I liked that too.
Very regal, very sophisticated. That's fine.
The Year of 1,000 Dreams, I think is what it was called, where they put that picture from France. It looked like a brooch piece up there. Gorgeous.
That makes me emotional to think about, because that was the castle when I was, for some of my childhood, that's what the castle looked like. But also, I remember looking at, they also had gold figures around the spires, like the Lion King characters, and Peter Pan was flying around on the top one.
Yes.
And seeing that as a kid made me be like, whoa, like that is so magical. So like, every time I think about that castle makeover, I love that one.
Yeah.
Some great castle makeovers.
Yeah.
Anyway, small details, small architectural details.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about fiber optics. All right, what do you have next?
I have one of my favorite things is floors.
Floors.
Do you have a specific floor example?
I know you do. I have a floor on here as well.
Okay, let's hear yours.
So mine is pretty new.
Okay.
It's in the Connections bakery half of Connections, because Connections, there's
Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks. They call it Connections Eatery and Confections, whatever, the Starbucks side.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I think people will know it as.
And that is what people will know it as, is the Starbucks side. When you're on the Starbucks side and you're waiting for your beverage, if you look down at the floor is actually in a specific geometric pattern. And that pattern is the layout to Walt Disney's original concept of Progress City.
Shut up.
Which is the, like, theoretical futuristic city concept that eventually became the Epcot theme park. But
I did not know this.
It's kind of an amazing little detail.
I can't wait to go see this.
Well, that same pattern is also behind Walt Disney's new statue at Dreamer's Point, is what it's called, behind Spaceship Earth. There's a little concrete background behind the bench, and it's that same pattern of it's very recognizable, because there's like a central sector and then these branches that come off of it and then outlying circles around the perimeter, and that's because he wanted commerce in the middle, transportation underneath and throughout, and then residencies at the perimeter.
Yeah.
And it's a very recognizable model, but to see it like incorporated as texture for flooring or for backdrops, to me is beautiful, because it's a very subtle nod to the very origin of Epcot.
Wow.
The idea of Epcot.
Wow, I had no idea.
Kind of amazing.
That is really cool.
There are lots of cool floors.
Yes.
We could do a whole episode on the floor.
Yes.
At Walt Disney World.
My examples are not so historical.
That's okay. Some of them are fun.
Yes.
There's a lot of fun floors at Walt Disney World.
A thing that I've mentioned before is that I love how embedded in like the floors or the concrete or whatever in the different lands are different things to signify kind of what land you're in, right? So when you're close to the Little Mermaid ride, there are seashells. When you are in Liberty Square, there are it's kind of like tire tracks, like a horse and a horse.
Like a
shoe
horse
prints.
drawn.
Yes, exactly.
And there's also like cobblestone-y type paths. Very, very, revolutionary.
There's a wedding ring with a big story that I'm not going to get into over by Haunted Mansion.
That's fun.
Yes.
In Muppet Vision 3D, when you first enter the queue, there's a ticket office and a sign that says the key is under the mat.
Yes.
And if you lift the mat up, the key is embedded into the floor.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, that is cool. I love that.
That's
I love
a fun
that.
little one.
Yeah. In Adventureland, there's just pieces of tile and jewels kind of embedded in the concrete, and I just love all of these details.
Amazing. You said the Storybook Circus
one, right? No.
Oh, say that one.
Yes, there are peanuts in the concrete at Storybook Circus, which is such a cute signifier for a circus. You know, like what else would you put? That's so awesome.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Because it's like whimsical, it's fun.
Right.
It's like so out of the ordinary.
Yes. I love that they think about floors all over the place. They think about the details like that, like we just mentioned, in the concrete outdoor floors, in the indoor floors, even like something silly like in Cosmic Rewind. The floors are so glittery in there that it makes me smile because I love glitter.
They're gorgeous.
They're just so pretty. And it's, black with glitter, like a spacey kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like a very deep reflex in the glitter that makes it like cosmic and cool.
Yes.
It also shifts color as you like walk through it. It's one of those like color changing glitters.
Yeah.
Those are always so amazing.
My gosh, I love it.
Let me tell you my worst floor.
Oh, okay.
Dinoland USA is paved to look like a parking lot.
I know. It's better when you know the theming.
It is.
But most people don't.
Right.
We've talked about, Jake told me the story for the first time. I had no idea.
Go back and listen to that episode. It's our Animal Kingdom episode. I think it was just entirely about...
it was just about Dinosaur or Dinoland, right?
Yeah.
The history. So we've got a bunch of Animal Kingdom episodes, but that one specifically I think would have dinosaur in the name.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, it's just a really weird, interesting backstory that basically, just to boil it down in like one line, is that Dinosaur, the attraction, takes place inside of a museum. That museum is supposed to be a popular tourist attraction, so to capitalize on that popularity,
with a McDonald's outside of it.
With the McDonald's outside. Yes. Chester and Hester, these two like hillbilly show business proprietors, set up this like carnival knockoff attraction right in the parking lot of the Institute to try to like draw in the tourists to play their carnival games and stuff. Which is like a very fun idea, but it definitely does feel like a parking lot, which is very strange.
Very weird. Very weird. I only like it now that I know the story. And even then, I feel like I think in my head, okay, I get it, but like 97% of people walking through here don't know the story, so it seems cheap.
As a kid, I did not understand, and I was like, oh, this is a temporary section of the park.
Right.
That they built.
Well, that thought process makes so much sense.
And that's kind of true.
Yeah,
I mean, not true, but the reason that Dinoland was built, the reason Dinoland was built was because it was cheaper than Beastly Kingdom.
Right.
So, I mean...
So, yeah, you're...
Knowing that changes your perspective also a little bit on Dinoland. And now that they've demolished Primeval Whirl, it really does envelop you in that abandoned parking lot theme.
Yeah, right. It does feel a little bit like you're in a fair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, isn't cool. You're right. That's a bad one. For a good one, of like a super A+ situation in Animal Kingdom, though, the floors of Pandora at night, if you ever get to see it at night, we are like lobbying for them to stay open later, is they have bioluminescent paint everywhere, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
That is like a beautiful floor.
It very, very thought out. You know what I mean? Very gorgeous. Definitely when you're there at night and the glow lights or whatever are on, and the floor is shining, it makes you feel like you're on a different planet or in a different world, and that's fantastic. I mean, that's the point.
Whoever thought that just some, paint in the floor could evoke such emotion? But
yes,
it does. It really helps tell the story over there.
Yes,
Love
I
it.
really like that.
I love that. What's next on your categories list?
Cast members.
Cast members. Go on.
Okay, so I actually I don't know how many people care that much about this, but I like how they've got the artists that are janitors that are doing the pictures of Mickey and stuff on the concrete right now in water, and then it evaporates, and then they go to another one. I love like the Dapper Dans just being randomly somewhere singing. I think that the cast members that are going above and beyond to be in character really add to the ambiance in a wonderful way. That being said, a cast member can kind of mess up the whole situation if they really want to, but I think that Disney does a good job of hiring the kind of people that are excited to be there and excited to be part of the magic. Michael always gets so frustrated when people don't say have a magical day.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Yeah, I like when even when the character isn't something happy, like the characters that they play at Tower of Terror or at Haunted Mansion, or even though I kind of hate this, Rise of the Resistance. Their Sinister. Character is to be a jerk. Right. But they're doing a good job, and it keeps you in ambiance, which I feel like is a magical little thing.
It is, but to see that, it's like a whole nother element of storytelling to add to your experience. And when the Rise of the Resistance cast members are like feeling it, and they're like, "Come on, this way, recruits! This way to your next mission," and stuff. That is always such a good way to hype up the guest for the experience. I love when you get those super committed cast members.
Jungle Cruise skippers,
Stretching Room, Haunted Mansion folks, people giving the spiel before Country Bear Jamboree, and they get, extra twangy with it, or they put their own bear jokes in there.
Yeah.
Those are all amazing little ways to put some extra personality into the experience. That I think that is part of like the heartbeat of the situation.
I do too, and leaps and bounds better than any other theme park I've ever been to.
It's true.
Like when you go to other theme parks, you cannot expect even a smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can think of some theme parks I've been to where that has definitely been the case.
They don't want to be there.
They don't care if you're buckled into your Just kidding.
Kind of.
Although I did feel that way one time.
Yeah.
On a wooden roller coaster at Six Flags over Georgia. I thought I was going to die. But it's true that the cast members really make a huge difference. And also, I will say, if you have an attractions cast member who's like working the queue or something that is super like enthusiastic about everything, I think it puts you at ease a little bit about the stress of like the boarding situation. And in those situations, I think they are like way more helpful than maybe they could even ever realize. You know what I mean? Like delivering the experience, saying to guests, "I got you. You're part of the story. Relax, enjoy the experience." Like, I think that comes from cast members more than anything.
Absolutely.
Which I love.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. Cast members. Okay, I have a couple little things here that I'm going to round up.
Okay, great.
This kind of ties back earlier to the little Easter eggs we were talking about before. I've got three specific ones that I wanted to talk about. The first is all of the tributes in the Skipper Canteen Library.
Oh, yes. Anytime you see a book, you see a book anywhere in Disney, check out what it's called.
Yeah, that's actually that's great advice, because usually there's a lot of references in them.
Nothing is by accident. You know what I mean?
It's so true. And this is definitely the case here. Not only is there a bunch of cool Jungle Cruise universe stuff all around the Skipper Canteen, but in the library room specifically, which Morgan always says when she's describing this room that it's on the way to the restroom, which is perfect, because that's probably you're going to experience that at some point.
And the host always tells you where the restroom is when they seat you. I mean, they have told us every time, so then you'll know.
Right. So you can easily find it. And there's references to all kinds of Magic Kingdom past in there. From characters that used to have rides, attractions that used to exist, the Imagineers themselves, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, Walt Disney and his film career, like anything you can imagine that Imagineers would want to pay tribute to, they do in this amazing library of Easter eggs at Skipper Canteen.
Yes.
And also the food is good, so check it out.
Oh, yeah.
We always recommend people go when they're on their Magic Kingdom day.
Absolutely.
Speaking of amazing tributes, there are amazing Roger Rabbit tributes all throughout MGM. There used to be even more back in the day when there was the prop warehouse section of things, which was like a gift shop, but there was also Roger Rabbit stuff everywhere, including the steamroller that was used in the film, and a bunch of photo ops that you could take, like Roger Rabbit's silhouette through the brick wall.
Yeah.
Stuff. Very fun. Nowadays, there are some references, including the Maroon Studios billboard, which was kind of a tribute to the fact that Sunset Boulevard, when it was developed, was originally going to have Roger Rabbit-themed attractions. And then there's also the outline of Roger above Hollywood and Vine, like he's like flying out of the window.
Of course he is.
Flying out of Eddie Valiant's office, which is amazing. And I recently heard someone say, and I've seen this a couple different places online, that actually lined up with another silhouette of Roger in the animation building that used to exist in MGM Studios. Now it's not an animation building anymore, but that kind of went across the park as if Roger had flown all of that length.
Wow.
If anyone has a photo of that, I would love it more than life. You have no idea. But I've heard that a few places now, so I'm not 100% sure it's true, but I have to believe there has to be something to it.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that. But those are some of my favorite Roger ones. And if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with Horizons, which is a ride that was in Epcot. And there are a few tributes to it around Mission Space when you go into the attraction, and there's a gravity wheel on the right side. The Horizons logo is in the middle of it. It's also underneath the gift shop checkout counter. The Horizons logo is in the counter, which is awesome. And the planter in front of the ride building is still in the shape of the Horizons building from when it was first constructed, and they haven't messed with it at all. So it's like the same as it was back in the 80s. So I love all of those tributes to old attractions or old properties that aren't represented as much anymore. And those are just like a handful of my favorite ones. I probably should have lumped them in the like initial Easter eggs portion of this, but
the Easter eggs to old attractions are absolutely awesome. I love that too. I'm glad that they seem to do it every time they take something out.
Nowadays,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Even with, do you think before they weren't?
No, they didn't. They didn't all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I love when they do.
It seems like they are for all of them now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? In Winnie the Pooh, if you look backwards, you can see a picture of Mr. Toad handing over the deed.
Love it.
Yeah. Even in Cosmic Rewind, which is a recent one, he talks about going to see the dinosaurs.
Yes.
I think there are others too. That's the one that pops out to me.
There's like a set of pipes in the ride, and in Xandarian, which is the language from the franchise, there's one says Ellen, one says Bill Nye, and one says Alex for Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cute. Yeah. That's a deep Easter egg. Because you'd have to translate the language.
Oh yeah, that is whoever figured that out.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Well, when we went to Disneyland and we were going on Mission Breakout, Michael was translating the language. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
that's awesome.
You get into it, you know.
I love that. I would love to go there and have Michael there to tell me what things say.
Yeah,
because I am unfortunately not the type of person that like would be translating it,
right?
But I want to know what it says.
Oh, so and Indiana Jones, the ride in Disneyland, there's a different language with things written all over, and they gave out cards. I want to say they were sponsored by AT&T that was a translator card. And for, I want to say my birthday a few years ago, my little brother bought me one from eBay and sent it to me. So I've got an Indiana Jones translator card, which is like the coolest thing ever.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I should post a picture of it on our Instagram.
You should explain like what it is.
Yeah,
that's pretty. I don't know. That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
especially
it's
because
so cool.
Yeah, that is cool because that went with AT&T's sponsorship of the attraction, didn't it?
I don't know.
I think so. I don't think you can do that anymore. So it's like cool. I mean, you can if you have the card, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you've got like a remnant.
Oh, you mean like could I get the card still? Yeah, they're not giving out the card anymore. They might have only done it like for the grand opening. I don't know. I'm not a Disneyland expert as much. You know what I mean?
There's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Disneyland has been around.
Right.
But yeah, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
Morgan even just found old park maps a little while ago. And we like looked at them forever because that kind of stuff. Just to see how much the park layout the parks has changed over the years. It's wild. Stuff that you don't even remember is not there anymore. Or didn't even remember existed is now something else.
Well, and little things that you wouldn't even think to remember, like the Sun Care Center or, you know what I mean? Payphones.
Morgan showed me the sign for the Sun Care Center in Magic Kingdom,
Tomorrowland,
Yeah, the other day, and it brought back like an immediate memory because you look at it a lot if you go a lot.
Yeah.
So I looked at it all the time, but I hadn't until that moment even remembered that it was a thing. So that's crazy to think about. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of those little details are kind of amazing. They definitely blend together to not only enrich the story that they're trying to tell, but to give you new things to find, new things to get excited about every time you go. And finding new magic in every trip is definitely part of what we aim, I feel like, to do, to keep the experience fresh and also to be excited by all of the details around, because being, fortunate enough to experience parks that were planned with so many things for you to discover, it's like a lifetime treasure map of like finding new stuff.
Right. And I feel like because the Imagineers put so much effort into this, I feel happy for them when people notice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something, especially such a small detail.
Yeah. It is like it is like you said, it was like saying hi to them. It's like recognizing that level of detail. And I love it. That is part of the fun of going to a Disney park. And it does definitely distinguish it from other theme parks as well.
Right.
Well, hey, if you liked our big recap of these small magical extras, then we would love it if you would subscribe to the show. And if you want to check us out on social media, you can check us out there as well. And stay tuned for Morgan's Indiana Jones decoder card.
Yeah.
It's Neverland Navco on Instagram and TikTok. And we would love to see you there to check out all of our park content short form. In those places, we'd love to see you.
Yeah. We also have an Etsy store called Neverland Navigation on Etsy, where we make shirts that are soft and they're custom. So if you have a favorite ride or you're looking for a gift for somebody and they have a favorite ride, we can make a shirt specifically, for them.
Yeah.
We do a lot of retro kind of looking stuff, which is fun because we love the history.
Yes.
That's also where you get the shirt from if you decide to send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com and let me help book your next Disney trip or cruise. So check it out, Neverland Navigation at Etsy.
Check it out. Great shirts. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. We're going to be off discovering some more magical details, but we'll see you on our next adventure. Goodbye.